All right, Wolfpack Nation, we are back here for part two, y'all, of our interview with ALANA Smith, one of the greatest NC State women's tennis players in program history, talking about all things NC State women's tennis. And if you haven't checked out part one yet, make sure to go and do that, where we talk about her recruiting, talking about the vision that Coach Earnshaw had given to her. And now we're going to talk a little bit more in terms of this year that we just got done with, this historic year we just got done with, and kind of talking about her legacy and kind of what's next for ALANA on the journey of tennis and life in general. So kind of talk to me, ALANA, in terms of it was definitely, I think, a very, you could kind of see the build of the season. Obviously, starting off with, just like you were saying, a tough loss to Vanderbilt, before Diana got in here. And then, you faced UNC one time during the regular season, got swept 4-0. And I think that match, to me, looking back at it now, I think to me seemed like kind of a turning point, like kind of yeah, no, that's not us. Yeah, UNC's number one, all that jazz, but nah, we shouldn't be getting smoked for nothing by this team. We're way too talented, too good of a team to be there. Did you kind of get that sense as well of that being a turning point? And would you say there's anything else that kind of stood out to you from the season that was really a building block to what ended up transcribing the rest of the season?
Yeah, I would say that match was because, the score was like 4-0, 7-0, but so doubles was a little rough. Okay, we lost the doubles point. We were down Diana, so we already kind of knew going into match would be a little tough, but we still had a lot of confidence. We were like, okay, we're still a good team. But then we went into singles, and honestly, it was kind of split 3-3. Like I know three of us were in the lead before the lightning delays and the rain delays, and then once we moved indoors, and everything kind of by the second lightning day, everything kind of switched directions, and that's why the score. I think I would say, if the lightning delay and the rain didn't happen, I don't think it would have been 7-0. But you never know, anything can happen. But we were down Diana in that match, and then kind of like the whole year we kind of were like very up and down because of some weeks Diana would be here, some weeks she wouldn't be here. She'd go play tournaments, and even that little confusion, I think, kind of was like messing us up in a way, probably, like looking back at it. But once Diana was started to be here full time was literally after that week. After we lost UNC and Duke that weekend, she was here every day, and we were practicing every day. Everyone was kind of locked in, going right into the ACC tournament. So we kind of that's when our season everything just started going up.
Yeah. And I do want to kind of jump right to it, because definitely we want to talk about the NCAA. But, before we talk about the NCAA, we got to talk about the ACC championship. And I see you're wearing, I think, the ACC championship shirt.
Oh, yeah, I know. I got it on. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, I saw the flash of the ACC. Let's go. Yeah, no. Hey, listen, I can't say enough. I mean, I know that we've won, a couple of national championships recently with, women's cross country.
Mm-hmm.
And we've won ACC championships. I know we tied this year. Actually, I think it was a program record of 4 Team ACC championships in 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say easily that this ACC championship was the biggest of all, not only just because of the fact that it was the first time in women's tennis history, but the fact that you only gave up 1 team point, the whole ACC tournament to UNC, who is number one in the country unanimously, and you guys just got swept 7-0 by them, like a month or two before that. So, I mean, kind of talk to me in terms of I know, like you were saying, that you guys didn't have Diana for the first UNC match of regular season, but I mean, like, tell me honestly, how confident were you heading into that UNC match? I mean, I know you could tell me, I knew the whole time.
Yeah,
I had no doubt about it. But
I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah.
Were we
Please
saying
don't lie.
Today is our day? We definitely were saying today is our day. But on the inside, I was like, okay, it's gonna be tough. Everyone gotta bring it for us to do it. So it was even funny too, because my mom didn't come, and she was like, "How come you didn't tell me to come?" And I was thinking about it. I was like, dang, maybe I was tripping. Like I didn't think like I was like, yeah, we could win and stuff like that, but my brain wasn't thinking like we were actually could win, so I didn't even tell her to come. Like it was so funny. Like I
Mm-hmm.
was just like, yeah, like we definitely were saying today is our day. Like today is the day. Like everything felt right and everything. Like everyone was playing good even the days before. Like everything was on. Doubles
Yep.
was looking good. Everyone was doing good in singles. We were all fresh. Like it was just the vibes were just great that week.
Yeah, 100%. So, kind of talk to me in terms of, I mean, again, it was a beautiful day for sure, and again, things were going well. Everybody was playing really well. Talk to me in terms of, I mean, how the moment that state locked up the ACC championship. I mean, it had to been immediate just thinking back of all the years that you put into NC State. Again, like just like I was saying when we first started the interview, like that had to be a moment of like, oh my God, like, we just did something that has
Never.
never been done in NC
Yeah.
State history.
Mhm.
Like that had to have been again just an emotional moment for sure. Kind of talk to me in terms of what immediately hit you when that ball went long and State won the ACC
Yeah,
championship.
no, it was very surreal. Like I honestly, I still couldn't believe it happened. Like it was funny because we look back at the video. My coaches laugh all the time because they're like, "Dang, you were moving to Sophie," because I was the first person to Sophie, and I
Let's
was
go.
like, "Yeah, I was. I don't know where everyone else was. I just ran because I was like, I can't believe this is happening. Like even like we won ACCs, but even like beating UNC. Like I know that's been circled on our sheets for every year. Just beat UNC, beat UNC, beat UNC. So I think it's even more like crazier that we beat UNC while getting the ACC championship. That,
And because one other thing too, which I want to add in before I bring Michael in here, as well as that, earlier that season, uh, we had a win over number 2 Ohio State, which was at the time recorded as the highest ranked win in program history.
Mhm.
But then that win, not only was it the first AC title in program history, not only was it against against UNC, but it was also now broke the program record for the highest ranked win in program history. So I mean, again, there's no doubt that I can easily make an argument that this team was the greatest NC State women's team in program history, and I think that there wouldn't be really many people that would argue that, to be honest with me. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, no. So again, huge moment for sure.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, so what going into that ACC championship against UNC, obviously we talked about how we lost them earlier in the season. Was there a different strategy, different approach to it? Or was it pretty much just going out and executing like you guys had been leading up to it?
Or
Yeah,
was it
no.
pretty much that now we got Diana, so we're going for it all now?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sure
no,
Diana
we
being
kind of.
included in the plans
Yeah.
helped.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, we kind of
yeah.
were going into it as in, like if we could get the doubles point, then we'd have a really good shot at it. So we were
Mhm.
I think that was the loudest we've ever been any doubles point we played all season. Like even like me and Diana, like we were doing pretty good, but even looking down at Millie and Nell, like they were
Mhm.
loud. Like I was just playing in the points, and I'm just like, gee, like I couldn't stop hearing them. And even
Sure.
Abby and Sophie, when they were all the way down there, I could hear them every point too. So I was just like, this is good. Like it was so loud, and the energy was just great. So yeah, no, we just were like just going all in for the doubles point because we knew if we could get that, we would have momentum going into singles. And then UNC would
Yeah.
kind of be a little shocked to just put a little back, probably a little bit for us getting the doubles point and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
yeah, no, that was about
Yeah.
it.
So I do want to kind of talk a little bit here, kind of a tangent, and then we'll kind of pick up talking about the championship match. But it was very clear this season in a couple different places that State just still isn't quite getting the respect. And I know that the rankings are based off of computers, but I don't know. I have
Yeah.
a hard time believing that. How does State win the AC championship, beat a number 25 Florida State, a number 20 Georgia Tech, and then sweep UNC 4-1 against number 1 team in the country, and you're still going in as the number 4 ranked team in the country, number 3 seed. And then on top of that, you make it all the way to the championship match in NCAA's, beating Stanford, beating Iowa State, you name it, pretty much sweeping most all of
Mm-hmm.
them, and then you lose to UNC 4-1. But anybody who watched that match with 2 eyes can tell you that it wasn't a blowout. I mean, there was honestly a point in that where it was setting up where I'm like, I think State's got a pretty good chance of winning this thing, but
Yeah.
it just turned right back towards UNC and winning it. But still, at the final rankings had State as number 4, which I'm sitting here saying, like, wait, so like I don't even necessarily know that even if we beat UNC, that we would still have been ranked number 1 in the final
Really?
polls. I mean,
Yeah,
honestly,
no,
I mean,
I think if we would have
that's what it
won, we
tells me.
probably. I mean, they only if you
You still
win,
would have
you
been probably number 2.
automatically get one. But like on the ranking total with points, we probably wouldn't even have the most points. And it's just it's
No,
very just. I mean, as you can tell, like the Vanderbilt loss kind of just messes the point total up. That's why we did get 4.
yeah,
I think if we didn't have that, we for sure would be
Yeah.
2 for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Again,
But it
just
kind of just
4.
sucked because
Come
like
on.
that. I mean, everyone. I mean, I want to say, but like we were like the second best team this year. I mean, I don't say
Yeah.
we, us and
Absolutely.
UNC for sure. But
Ain't no
yeah,
doubt about it. No. Hey,
Yeah.
I mean, do you think? Because to me, I'm saying that's got to change. There ain't no way.
yeah,
Like anybody that has any kind of tennis mind or any general
yeah,
mind, ain't no way you're putting State
yeah.
at 4.
I
No
mean,
way. Because
yeah.
again,
I thought that
because
it
again,
was
I mean,
where you if you make the finals, you'd get 1 and 2. But I guess that's not it.
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's funny, like any other state team that would finish number 4, it'd be crazy, like crazy successful.
Yeah, right.
And then when you looked at all the comments, it was like, how are
How
we
are we
only
only
number 4?
4?
Like,
Yeah,
that
no, it was
doesn't
actually
make
really
yeah.
funny.
that's
I
ridiculous.
mean, look, when it came out, I was like,
Yeah.
really? But I was like, okay, whatever. It's just,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that I mean,
No,
I can just
it
blame
is
on
what
us
it
for
is.
messing up the regular season, I guess, a little bit. Even taking a couple losses to like, who we lost to Miami at Miami. That one was
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
we lost
rough
to
one.
Duke. That was a rough
Yeah.
day for us. Yeah, so I mean,
Yeah,
if we didn't have maybe one of those losses on there, we probably would have. But so
yeah. But
it
again, I
does
mean,
kind of
like
suck.
if it was a normal like football AP poll where you have voters, things like that,
Exactly.
I
I
mean,
mean, if it was off
they
of
would look
voting,
at it
for sure,
saying,
people put us at 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
no doubt, easily. But kind of talk to me. So obviously, I would say that definitely beating Stanford, who I mean, again, has the most national championships of any women's tennis program, arguably, almost inarguable, the like top pillar of women's tennis is Stanford for sure. And so to me, I think that win was huge within itself to get to State's first ever national title game appearance. But I mean, obviously, the UNC game itself, the UNC match itself was huge. I mean, kind of talk to me in terms of, if you looking back now at that NCAA tournament run, especially late in it, you know, to me, that Stanford win's got to be one of the biggest moments in NC State women's tennis history, just because it's like I think that's solidified that we're not, that we are an elite program. We are one of the big guys now. It's not just like a fluke. Like you don't just go beat Stanford in the Final Four and anybody can do it. Like no, you got to be a legit boss in order to beat them on a stage like that. I mean, would you kind of agree with me on that
Yeah,
synopsis?
no, for sure, I agree with you. I think like when I was coming up and playing, like all I knew was Stanford, Stanford, Stanford. It was all Stanford. Like they won every national championship I can remember. So
Yeah.
even like before I was in school, I came to Orlando and it was I think a year before when I think Stanford won that year before I came in school. I was at the finals match.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, be it like when we saw Stanford on it because we never get to play teams like that, like the very East Coast teams that are very like West Coast, sorry, the West Coast. So we don't ever play those teams. Like I don't know UCLA, like all those Iowa State, like, we never play them. So like we got an opportunity to play them, and I know people were like trying to see if the ACC was as big as we were, like to see if ACC is actually, and we just were like, okay, this is how we prove that ACC is the top dog. Like we are the best program, like in college
Let's
tennis.
go.
So yeah, so we were like I mean I didn't know we would it'd be 4-0, but like I was like
Yeah.
no, it was
Yeah.
definitely great
No,
when
it was
we
legit.
won that match for sure.
Yeah. Now talking about UNC, I mean that match. I know watching it. I know our own Michael Tracy was there covering it for Tuffy Talk, and I mean I know Michael could talk a little bit about it, but I know for me watching it, like that environment has to be like the best, environment. Like if you think of, what the best possible environment that women's tennis could have, that had to be that has to be a bar, if not the bar. I mean, just seeing there was a ton of state fans, a ton of Carolina fans. It was packed all over the place, all the bleachers. It was loud. It was annoying at times, even too, listening to it, which I'm sure it was for you,
Yeah.
even too. I mean, kind of talk to me about, I mean, like that environment. Like, again, building up to it.
Yeah.
Again, I can't talk enough. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like y'all, is that this is why I'm saying that Alana Smith is one of the most important, if not the most important player, not only just because of your skill level, but the journey. Think about where you started. So now you're playing in the
Yeah.
national championship match against number one UNC in a packed house in Orlando, Florida. I mean, talk to me about that moment. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, no, that was honestly, yeah, definitely best environment we've ever played in front of. I mean, I think second best was probably
Easily.
Carrie during ACCs. Like that was the best until this
Yeah.
happened. So, because it was like,
Yeah.
because with the Carrie design, like only three courts have the stage, and then the other three don't. So I
Yeah.
feel like they would go all across. Like Orlando, it probably would get to that, but yeah, no, that it was
Yeah.
just crazy how loud it was from the jump. Like it was crazy. Even like I could just I mean, the only thing I really can remember is when that game where I was down triple match points. I was down 45-4, 40 love. And when I came back and won that game, I just could hear everyone behind me just going crazy. Like that probably was like the loudest. Like
Yeah.
I was just like, wow, this is crazy. But no, it was so fun. I know before the match, Simon was like, well, this is the only match we haven't played. Like because I think we played in Final Four. We played in we played every match except this. This is the only match we have not played. So. Um, so
Let's
yeah,
go.
so that I mean it was
Let's
great to
go.
experience that. That was so fun.
Yeah. So in the beginning, obviously, I'm assuming the goal this was the same as ACC championship. Try and win that doubles point because that gives you a huge advantage going into the singles
Yeah.
matches. So when state doesn't win the doubles point, how does what does Simon say to you guys? Like, does your strategy change at all, or just just try and go out and do your best and
Yeah.
win what you can win?
Yeah, no, so yeah, after we didn't get the doubles point, it kind of was like, I mean, to all of us, we kind of knew we were like, okay, we don't really need the doubles point to win. Because one, I mean, sorry, we have Diana, so that's a point. We know that's a point. So we're like, okay, we
Yeah.
just need, okay, instead of two, we just need three now. And I mean, we knew kind of like our advantages would be probably 5 and 6, and then just between either me and Millie, um, if we could pull it, if one of us could pull it out, then we knew. And it's like because I think Gina and Millie had the same people they played during ACCs, so we kind of were like, okay, that's good for us, But yeah, no, I mean, it
Yeah.
just didn't go our way, which we kind of were just like, dang. Like when it was over, I was kind of just like, it's not over, is it? Like I was like, if only. Like I feel like if I could have won that deuce point, maybe at at 6-5, if I could have just stayed out there, maybe it could have. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Millie could have pulled that match out. It's like something could have just so. But yeah, no, just looking back at it, but it was just a great experience to just be out there and just having fun. We had fun, even though it did suck at the end. But yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, and 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 you faced Fiona Crawley from UNC, who was ranked number one in college tennis all season, but they moved her down to face you instead of Diana because Diana beat her in the ACC championships.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, is that like a normal thing that a team will move their number one player down the line to try and get an advantage there?
No, I don't know. I still it's funny because we still looking at that like really like even that in doubles we kind of looking at it like really. But I mean you gotta look at it like you can't like you just lost to him with this lineup. Like okay, let's try to change it up and do something else, which is I mean kudos to them, but like it's kind of like I don't know how that was able to happen. I mean, if you look at it, the two teams that they changed for doubles made it to the finals, doubles national championship. So it's kind of like I just don't understand how they were able to change that. But I mean, it happened. I mean, we did I think everyone protested their lineup. I think every team protested their lineup because it's like the number one girl in the country is playing two. It's kind of like
it's facing two. Well, because. Yeah, no, and again, that's why I'm saying it has to be unique, and because again, I mean, like you're basically UNC is conceding the point against Diana, saying like we're not going to get against Diana. So like that's why like the two things, which again, I'm not necessarily saying like I'm not pointing fingers, but just saying that obviously doubles point was very very close. If that could have swung in our favor, that could have been a game changer. But also too, like you were saying, like. If you could have pulled out that win against Crowley, which I mean would have been huge just for not only just getting a team point, but I think that would have been a huge kick in the confidence of UNC because it's like we literally brought her down to 2. And if we still couldn't get that win, then it'd be like
I mean the same thing with the game over. Doubles too. They kind of I mean we kind of felt like they did that so they could try to pull out 2 and 3 and kind of just give up one doubles. Well, I mean, if you look at it, it works.
That is.
Which respect to you. That's what I'm saying. Like you got to take that as hey, respect to you because obviously they didn't want all that smoke. They didn't want that smoke. So yeah. Go ahead, Michael.
It's also kind of a risky move if they don't win the doubles point because then they're giving up another singles match to Diana. So then they would have to win 4 out of the 5 remaining singles matches, so it could have backfired.
It could have, and that's what. It could have.
Yeah. Really. Yeah. So, but again, just what an awesome match it was. I'm sure it's a moment that you'll remember for the rest of your life. I'm going to put those words in your mouth because I feel pretty confident in that word right there. But kind of talking back and thinking back, kind of looking at what you have accomplished in state, being only the second player in women's tennis history to eclipse over 100 wins and in singles, and you also have 100 career wins in doubles, which definitely not much of a shocker, being with the Anna Rogers for 3 years and then Diana Schneider for a year. So definitely, you definitely had a great partner through, which is awesome to learn from and to develop with. But so, and obviously too, looking at all of your resume, which I have here, which also I gotta give a shout out because having a Wikipedia page about you, that's when that you're pretty high levels when you have a Wikipedia page along. Did you know that you had a Wikipedia page?
Right, every time I come home, my family
neither of us have a Wikipedia page.
I'm like, oh my gosh.
yeah, that's when but yeah, so being at the top, you can see here, of course, when here we go, record book. I was like, where'd it go? It lost on me. But so you lead, you have the most single season wins in doubles in 2019 with 37. Have the highest career win percentage in singles at 69.3. Which is phenomenal.
Wow.
Your second career wins doubles, second career ACC wins doubles. The list goes on. I mean, in this record book, literally, if I search your name comes up 24 times. So, I mean, there's no doubt that your impact is here in the record books. I could keep on going. But I mean, so obviously your resume speaks for itself, being a multiple All-American singles and doubles, multiple All-ACC singles, doubles. But kind of thinking back, if state fans were to look back at ALANA Smith and her career at NC State, what would you want your legacy to be? What would you want to be, what state fans think about when they think about Alana Smith at NC
Oh
State?
gosh, what would I want them to? I mean, I guess that I gave my all to NC State. Like, I really do think
Yeah,
I enjoyed my time, my 5 years here at State. So I just want them to know, like, I really gave my all for this program and got it to be
yeah.
the dogs of college tennis. You know.
Let's go. Yeah. No, absolutely. And again, I mean, we've preached it the whole interview here, but again, the growth from, your first year back in
Yeah. Yeah.
2018,
18.
2017. Yeah. 18. Yep. So the growth from then where, again, the Sweet 16 was like a hope and a prayer to, Final Fours consecutively and then making it to the first ever national championship match and ACC championship in program history. There's no doubt that I think that any State fan who knows, even even heard your name for a half a second would know that for sure. So definitely got to give a hats off there. But and then also too, I do want to kind of ask just kind of a fun question. Would you rather, if Coach had to tell you that that you are either playing doubles or you're playing singles, which way would you go?
I know.
Tough
It.
one, I know, but I just think it's a fun one.
Yeah, that's true. Who am I playing with? That's true.
You had to play
Yeah,
with, yeah, you had to play with me, and we're
no,
competing doubles. Yeah,
I'd
yeah,
probably say
yeah. No.
doubles, just because I have a lot of fun playing doubles. So I think I'm smiling the most when I'm playing
Cool.
doubles than I am playing singles.
Well, and it's funny you talk about that. You're smiling because it's one thing for sure that the broadcast could not stop talking about.
Were
But it's
they
something too
really?
what you notice as well is that, like, well, talking about how like I think when you were facing Crawley, how it seemed like you were you're being your toughest critic. Like it was obvious you could tell, that like, that you were playing, you're thinking through things, etc. But also even Brian Rosenthal, when we talked about you at the end of, at the end of the year on our live stream, one of the things that he said that, which is something that kind of is a mind game to your opponent, is that whether you're up or you're down, that you look exactly the same. Like, you're not excited, you're not doing the
No.
say across the court like
Yeah.
all the others are, like you're even keel. So I mean, like have you always been like that, or is that something that you kind of developed?
I've always
Like
been
what?
like that. I
Talk
don't
to me
know
about that.
why, but it's so hard for me to give like a positive, like a come on. It's so hard for me to do that. I don't know why.
Come
I only can
on,
do that
yeah,
when I'm having like when I'm like playing around. So when I'm serious, like I'm just too like locked
yeah,
in to just scream come on. Like I do it in my head. Like after I win a point, I'm like, oh yeah, good job, and I keep on going. But like on the outside, like it shows
yeah,
I have nothing. And I mean, I used to be really like negative, but someone was like told me like if you're negative, you gotta have a positive, or else if you don't want to be positive, you can't be negative. So I kind of was like, okay, I need to fix that because it's hard for me to just think about doing that. So I kind of just stay very like I try to stay the same the whole time.
yeah,
Yeah, they don't know what's going on in my
right,
head.
yeah, better.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, especially your Stanford opponent, which the name doesn't come to mind, but I mean, from watching that match, there's no doubt she was very vocal, very vocal. Like you could tell she was trying to get
Yeah, it
at you,
was. I
man,
didn't
and
realize she was getting mad at
uh,
like 'cause some of my friends were there at the top, like my family members. So I think they were like saying stuff, and she was getting so mad at them. I thought she was mad at like
ooh,
her or
okay,
something. Like I could see her saying like throwing her arms up. But like one of like my cousin, he
okay,
was like, "Oh yeah, she told us to be quiet or something like that." And I was like, "Whoa!" I was like, "Oh,
ooh,
she was
I
talking to
like
you guys."
that.
Like I had no clue. I had no. But I know they
Hey,
were
that's
saying something because
juicy.
I remember my cousin.
I
He
like
said
that.
something like "greater," like some cheese or something. It just made me laugh. Like I was like,
Oh,
yeah, he
let's
was cracking me
go.
up there. I was like, "What are y'all saying?" They were like, "Put her in a body bag." They were saying some crazy stuff up there. I was like, "Whoa."
Dang,
That's exactly. Just have them do it. Since we can't do
dude.
it, we'll get in trouble for it. Just have them do it. They can't say nothing to them up there. So
Hey. I love it. All right, cool. All right. Well, so to kind of wrap this up here, Alana, so talk to me in terms of, first of all, so what was your degree in
So
state?
I got my degree in sport management. I was poli sci, then
Okay.
too many papers for me, so I swapped over to sport management.
I hear you. I hear you. Okay, and then so you were. I know we were talking before you were recording. Before we recorded that you're going to be jumping on a plane. So where are you going? What's the tennis
yeah,
career looking
so
like? What's life after tennis? Give me
so
a rundown.
Simon helped me. Simon Dave kind of helped me with my schedule for the summer. So I'm going to
Okay,
Spain tomorrow, Madrid. So I'm gonna play there for
let's go.
maybe 4 weeks for like some like 25K, 60Ks, 40Ks, and just see how that goes. Hopefully it go well. I come back here and then there's a lot of stuff in the U.S. and maybe I'll even stop back in Raleigh, maybe, or even there's a lot of options. But yeah, hopefully these 3 weeks in Spain go pretty good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Have you
No,
played
I
in Spain
haven't.
before?
I have not. They said there's altitude there, and so should be fun. I
Mm,
kind of like altitude, so we'll see. Hopefully it's good for
okay.
me.
And so, to kind of like the last two questions, kind of wrap this up. So, I mean, like, how again, I know that you're basically just you've done some professional tournaments before. I mean, now you're out of college. Now you're kind of focusing on the professional. So how does that journey go? I mean, like in terms of do you always see yourself kind of being involved? Does there I mean, obviously, we want you to be. I know you want to be a professional tennis player for the
Yeah,
rest of your life, and
yeah.
continue for sure. But I mean, like how how do you kind of envision, the rest of your career? And again, you have a great degree in sports management from NC State. How do you kind of look at that? And then, if you do have to, step away from tennis or whatever that may be, what would your dream job be? Using that sports management
Yeah, so
degree.
like say if tennis doesn't work, I honestly I always like being like into like sport, either a sport agent or sport marketing. Something still in the sports world. I love sports. Like I have a
Cool.
problem. Like I think I watch football and basketball more than I watch tennis. So like
Okay. Okay.
yeah, no, I all that's what I'm saying. Like I'm all into it. So yeah. So definitely something
Okay.
still in the
That's what's
sports
up.
world with that
Yeah.
type of thing.
Cool. All right. Good deal. Yeah. No, well, again, Alana, definitely, cannot wish you enough of the best for sure. We'll definitely, continue to follow, your journey, and definitely, again, wishing the best for sure. No doubt. I think that I mean, we need more NC State representation and professional women's tennis. I know that for me, I always say like I'm tired of, when they show like at the ACC tournament, whether it's basketball or whatever, men's basketball, women's basketball, whatever, that they show the famous alumni. It's
Yeah.
always the same ones. It's like, Philip
Russell,
Rivers,
yeah,
Russell
same ones.
Wilson, Zach Galifianakis.
We need
And it's
some
like, all
new
right,
ones
we
to
need some
come
new
up and
ones
step
out there.
up
Like,
for us. Yeah, for sure.
exactly. So we want to see that from you for sure. And again, definitely, hope to see you back in Raleigh some. Definitely I'm sure that you'll still be around the program. I'm sure, trying to, you know, trying to bring on continue this big dog reputation
Yeah.
that you've built here at State,
Love it.
So yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much again for your time, Alana, as well. Really appreciate you coming on and kind of giving us opportunity to kind of help put this awesome bow on all the work that you've done here at State. And again, definitely wish you the best of luck,
Thank
and
you.
we'll
Thank you
continue
so
to
much.
follow.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
Glad
Yeah.
glad to know you had a good time. And again, make sure we said it in the first part, but make sure once again we'll put all the links to all of Alana's social media in the description below. So make sure to go and click that. Go follow Alana and continue to follow along with her as she continues her journey in the professional women's arena. And also to make sure again, if you haven't already, for our end, if you love NC State content, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. It's free to do, and to make sure that you're notified whenever we release any new NC State Tuffy Talk content. And if you enjoyed this conversation, hit that like button and give us a follow after you follow Lana on Twitter and Instagram at Tuffy Talk Now. But thank you all so much for joining us. Make sure again to follow women's tennis, y'all. Women's tennis has grown. It is here. If you are not following them, you're missing out. That's all I gotta say about it. If no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Simple as that. Thank you all so much for joining us. We'll see y'all soon, and go Pack, y'all. Yeah. All right, Alana.